Welcome to Comic Power. I am your host, Comic Killer 72. Today we're doing a new segment called the Quick Flip. In comic book investing terminology, the quick flip normally means you have something for a very short period of time that you sell for a profit and had no intention of holding it for the long term. At my channel, I'm going to incorporate the phrase quick flip and make it mean real down and dirty, real fast information about this channel and other comic book news. And today we're going to do it in 9 minutes flat. Okay, now that you understand, let's go ahead and get right into it. Controversial comic legend Rob Liefeld has just signed a deal with Netflix to bring his Extreme Studios characters to their format. Why this 50-year-old comic creator is so controversial is just too much to explain right now. If you're not familiar with him, you are familiar with his work. He rose to prominence as the co-creator of Cable when he took over New Mutants and introduced his character in issue number 86 as a cameo and first full appearance in issue number 87, which is iconic. A lot of comic historians, including myself, state this is the beginning of the Dark Age, and close the chapter on the Copper Age and make all these dark and gritty characters, in which there was no true heroes. Every character was really a grim anti-hero. Leifeld was also the co-creator of a little character called Deadpool, first introduced in New Mutants number 98. It also appears to be the first appearance of Domino, but that's not really her. Because comics are weird, her first full appearance is in X-Force number 11, which was drawn and written by Rob Liefeld too. Rob claims his biggest influence was sci-fi, super hardcore action, R-rated films like The Terminator and RoboCop. You can see the influence in the Cable character. As for Deadpool, it was a clear copy of the Deathstroke character, first introduced in 1980 in the Teen Titans, and a little bit of Spider-Man thrown in there. Rob is one of the 7 founders of Image Comics when all of the top artists at Marvel left to form their own company, which allowed creators to own the characters that they created. It still exists today and is one of the best things going in comics. They did a lot of things wrong when they started Image, but the whole idea of what the company was founded on is solid and it still exists today, which is creators' rights. At Image in early 1992, Rob published Youngblood, which was actually the first release from Image Comics in their history. And it gave us more of what Rob was known for: exaggerated muscles, big guns, and lots of pouches. And anti-hero grim characters that were direct ripoffs of characters he created, so he was plagiarizing himself, like that character looks like Deadpool, or the character that looks like Hawkeye or Green Arrow or the Thing in the back. Some of the other projects he put out was Bloodstrike, Prophet, and Supreme, which is just a Superman ripoff. These books were poorly written and never shipped on time. And looking back on these 25 years after the fact, they look like a parody of themselves. Youngblood made a return to Image Comics in 2017, and thank God someone else is writing and drawing it. So Rob gets credit for co-creating Cable, Deadpool, and Domino, who are awesome characters. But at Image, he never created anything original. It was all derivatives of other characters he had already created. They didn't ship on time. They were poorly written. The female characters did nothing to further the plot other than look pretty. And history does not bode well for these projects, except for Supreme, who he handed over to Alan Moore and actually won an Eisner for writing that. So anyway, Netflix is handing out a lot of money left and right. For example, scooping up the Millar World universe. And now they have Rob Liefeld's Extreme Studios, so you may see Youngblood or Prophet or Bloodstrike or Supreme, and hopefully they will look nothing like the 1990s, because that would be a big joke. You don't have to worry about killing yourself trying to find these debut issues. There's plenty of them in dollar boxes all over the place. He's also the creator of Evangeline, which was published in Maximum Press in 1995. It's about an angel that fights demons and monsters, but the rights to this character are tied up with Paramount, so you won't see it on Netflix. Congratulations to Rob. I'm hearing that it's a 7-figure deal with Netflix. So his financial security is set for life. They got a lot of work to do to make sure they're not derivative and corny, like their comic origins are. So you know what's next. Next up is the speculation pick of the week. And that's going to be Weapon H #1 from Marvel Comics. I'm sure you remember this from last year. It was a character that was introduced in the Totally Awesome Hulk number 22, which is a mashup of Wolverine and the Hulk. Basically, it went like this. The Weapon Plus program, which enhanced Wolverine, Sabretooth, and others, got a DNA sample of the Totally Awesome Hulk Amadeus Cho, grew this monster in the lab, and put adamantium claws on him and turned him loose. It was a huge hit, and 9.8s of this are selling for about $150 on eBay right now. I was extremely critical of it, and I still am, because I didn't like the idea of this mashup. I understand the close relationship of the Hulk and Wolverine, since Wolverine made his first appearance in the Hulk anyway, in issue 180 and first full in 181. But to me, in terms of a comic, it felt like a real jump the shark moment, just to sell toys and stuff like that. In terms of Marvel Comics, anything that shows any promise, they're going to make a whole series about it, whether it deserves it or not. Like Gwenpool, it should have been a miniseries, but they just threw it out there. Or America Chavez, same thing. Black Panther and the Crew didn't make any sense. And of course, all those titles are canceled or are going to be canceled. So now we have Weapon H. So what's going to happen with it? Well, it's going to sell big time on its first issue, and then it's going to start to teeter off after that, guaranteed. So it's going to ship with 8 different covers. If you're interested in this, go ahead and pick up whatever one that you like for cover, but don't get caught chasing variants. The runner-up is going to be Iron Man Hong Kong Heroes #1. What's interesting about this is that Iron Man is going to Hong Kong and teams up with Wendy Wong, who's the Vice President of Operations at Stark Lab in Hong Kong. She doesn't appear on cover A, but she does appear on cover B and cover C, so you definitely want to get one of those. This comic unites fiction and fact, because in Hong Kong there really is a Stark Expo Center in the Hong Kong version of Disneyland, and it looks like this, which is pretty cool. Depending on what happens with Tony in the Infinity War movies, the Wendy Wong character could become important in a live action movie in the future, so it couldn't hurt to pick up one of these with her on the cover. If you haven't heard, Marvel is developing Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur to become an animated television show. And if you were following my Wicked Wednesday program, you would know I was recommending this book every month that it came out. The character is young, she's female, she's African American, and she's Inhuman. All 4 things that Marvel wants to push. And despite very low floppy sales, they kept on publishing this character anyway. So I know there had to be a reason, which is simple. They needed source material, so when they do the cartoon, they'll have something to draw from. The big push for this to happen is coming from Cinema Gypsy Productions. That's a media company that's co-owned by Lawrence Fishburne. You may know him best as Morpheus from The Matrix. But guess what? He also has a reoccurring role on Blackish from ABC, which is owned by Disney, which owns Marvel, which publishes, guess what? Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. So they're keeping it in the family. And Lawrence makes things happen in Hollywood. His production company was responsible for Akeelah and the Bee back in 2006, starring Keke Palmer, which he also guest starred in, of course. The most logical actress to cast to do the voice of Moon Girl to me is going to be Marsai Martin. She's the youngest daughter on the Blackish show. She just turned 13, and she's got really good comedic timing, so I think it would really work for the character. And they would keep it all in the ABC Disney family. Moon Girl makes her first appearance in Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur #1 from 2015. This book was already selling for about $8 to $10. When the news came out, it shot up to about $20 to $25 for a raw copy. So if you can find this for $20 or less, it's probably a good bet. It's going to keep going up because this is a Disney project. It's going to happen. They have the capital and the means to do it. And Fishburne's company shows it can deliver. It has before. This is just more brilliant, great marketing from Disney. If your daughter is too old for Doc McStuffins and you want to get her into comics, the first thing you can give her is Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which will appeal to someone in the age of about 7 to 11. As the animated show gets closer to becoming a reality, I'll give you more information in the future about which key books to pick up for this series. The comic has been selling normally under 10,000 copies, so any key issue is going to get expensive and very hard to find. So I'll get you that information in the near future, okay? You know the drill. Subscribe to this channel, give it a thumbs up, and share it on social media so others can learn about comic power. Once again, thank you to all my subscribers and viewers. It only gets better from here. Don't forget to visit my eBay page where I sell key issue comics. My feedback score is 100% and I ship very quickly with very secure packaging. I'll put a link in the description. Thank you for your support.